Hello students, welcome to the channel. In this video, we'll solve the second writing passage of the April 2018 US SAT, Energy Storage Under Pressure. Renewable energy sources pose a challenge for the businesses and utilities that use them. The need to store surplus energy to use later during times of peak demand. The writer is considering revising the underlying portion to the following. Renewable energy sources such as hydropower, wind power, and solar power pose a challenge for the businesses and utilities that use them. So should the writer make this revision? I think they should, because if I'm speaking about renewable energy sources, then my introductory sentence should give a few examples of the kind of sources that these are. So this would be a yes answer. Yes, because it sets up how the information in the passage will be structured. No, that's not the reason to give these sources. It's not about structuring information. So this is not right. Yes, because it offers examples that clarify a key term in the passage, right? So this is the best answer because I have examples here that help me understand what renewable energy sources are. So B. The need to store surplus energy to use later during times of peak demand. So here I am talking about peak demand at its highest. So this, the way it's written is correct. So I like A. During times of peak, not for peak. So this is wrong. And peaked is to peak, take a peek, for example, to look at something. So that's not what we are looking for. We are looking for PEAK. And not peaked, right? We're looking for the adjective peak. So it's A. For example, wind fluctuates and generally produces more energy during the night when demand is lower. Conversely, solar power generates most of its electricity during the day and provides little power at night. A method of storage called compressed air energy storage, CAES, is one method that may be one of the best solutions to this problem. Now, this is a question on redundancy. I already say that it's a method of storage, so I don't have to say one method. So it's not A. Is a particular means of storage is already implied in the name, energy storage. So this is also repetitive. A form of storage is again repetitive. So the best answer would be to just delete it, and the sentence would read, a method of storage called CAES may be one of the best solutions to this problem. Power plants with CAES systems use surplus energy produced during off-peak hours to pump air into large underground cavities, such as naturally occurring or human-made salt or rock caverns. The expanding air drives a turbine generating electricity. The walls of these spaces have been specially fortified to handle the high pressure and density of pressurized air. As air is pumped into the inflexible cavern, the pressure increases to 1100 pounds per square inch. When energy is needed later, the power plant releases pressurized air from the cavity, causing the air to expand. To make this paragraph most logical, sentence 2 should be placed. So I'm looking at the expanding air drives the turbine generating electricity. So I can see that I was describing the process that takes place inside a CAES. And in the fifth sentence, I'm saying when energy is needed later, the power plant releases the pressurized air from the cavity, causing the air to expand. So this part, the expanding air then drives a turbine to generate electricity, should ideally come after sentence 5, because that connects with the expanding air of sentence 5. Also, this completes the process of power generation, which is what I'm looking to understand from this paragraph. So sentence 2 should come after sentence 5. Currently, only 2 power plants use CAES, one in McIntosh, Alabama, and the other in Huntorf, Germany. Okay, so here I have to decide the correct punctuation. So the way it's written is not correct, because if I have a semicolon, then both sides of the semicolon should be independent sentences and the second is not. So this is wrong. I similarly can't use a full stop because the second sentence is not an independent sentence. A colon makes sense, right? Because when I say only two power plants use CAES, the colon tells me that those two power plants will be described. So I like C. And the colon cannot come after one, right? The colon should only come at the end of a complete sentence. So this part till CAES is a complete sentence. So a colon after that makes sense. Option C. The Macintosh power plant can produce up to 110 megawatts of electrical power. The German plant can produce 321 megawatts. Okay, so here I need to decide again the correct punctuation and to join the sentences. So it can't be A because they are both independent sentences. So if I put a comma, it leads to a comma splice error, right? So A is wrong. Now, as well as doesn't make sense because I am not saying that the Macintosh power plant produces electrical power as well as something else, right? I'm saying that Macintosh produces electrical power of this magnitude and the German plant produces electrical power of another magnitude. So as well as is not used for that. I can use comma and, right? A comma and is perfect to join two independent sentences. And that would make sense here. So this is a good option. Okay, I could say while is okay because they produce different electricity megawatts, but then this colon is not correct, right? If I use, sorry, the semicolon is not correct because if I use that, then the second sentence, the second part should be independent, but it's not because I'm starting it with while. So that is why D is not correct. The best answer is C. Combined, that's enough energy to service approximately 431,000 homes. There are a few other CAS projects in progress across the US, including pilot projects in Ohio, California, and New Jersey. The writer is considering deleting the underlined sentence should the sentence be kept or deleted. So I'm talking about the use of CAS by two plants, and then I'm saying that combined, these plants can service 431,000 homes, right? So that's a good statistic to use in this paragraph because that gives me the level of energy and the advantage of using CAS because it can power 431,000 homes. So I'd like to keep it. Kept because it shows the impact of the two plants currently in use. Yeah, so that's a good answer because it tells me the amount of energy they generate. Kept because it provides a transition to another point about how to provide electricity to homes. So this is not correct because the sentence after is not about providing energy to homes. It's about other CAS projects, right? So the answer is A. There are a number of reasons that so few CAS units have been built, despite the fact that CAS is one of only a few reliable ways to store energy from renewable sources. First, huge underground cavities are possible only in certain types of land. Second, even where these formations exist, reinforcing them and building the infrastructure for CAES can cost upwards of $100 million. Now here I need to decide if I need a punctuation and I don't, right? Because this part is the subject of the sentence, reinforcing the cavities and building the infrastructure for CAES. And this part is the predicate, which is basically what you are saying about the subject, right? So when you have a subject and a predicate or a subject and a verb, you don't put a punctuation between them. So you don't need a comma, you don't need a semicolon, and you don't need a dash. So the best answer is C. Finally, traditional methods of CAS requires heat to compress the air, which can lower the energy efficiency of the process. Okay, so I need to decide the correct verb here, and the subject of this verb is traditional methods, which is a plural subject. So my verb should also be plural, so that would be require. Traditional methods of CAES require heat to compress the air, right? So it's not A. Had required is past perfect, and that doesn't make sense because the paragraph is in the present tense. And does require is also singular, so that's wrong. The answer is D. Though the system is initially expensive and involves an expenditure of energy, CAES has proven to be reliable and economically viable in the long term. Furthermore, researchers have developed methods of CAES that reach much better efficiency levels by apprehending the heat required to compress the air and reusing it to heat the decompressing air. Okay, so I'm basically saying that efficiency levels can be improved by capturing the heat, right? Capturing the heat required to compress the air and then reusing it. So in this context, capturing is a good word. To apprehend is to arrest someone, as in the police apprehended the criminal. So that doesn't make sense in the context of capturing heat. Arresting is also not proper in this context. And to seize is to, again, the idea about these questions is to use the correct context. Seize can mean capture, but in a context like she seized the opportunity and made an impression on the task force, which is to say that she took initiative, right? So that doesn't make sense in the context of heat. So this again is not correct. So the best answer is B. These methods can be used in CAES units built in the future. Given the growing shift to renewable energy, the only stumbling blocks to additional innovations may be national energy policies that make potential investors hesitate. The writer wants a conclusion that restates the main idea of the passage. Which choice most effectively accomplishes this goal? Okay, so the way it's written is not a good answer because this is completely new information that you can't add at the end of a passage. You're basically talking about the positives of CAES, so I need a conclusion that says that. So it's not A. CAS is a promising solution to one of alternative energy's biggest challenges. Right. So that is a good option because I know that a challenge of renewable energy is using it when it's required because it's not always available when it's needed. So this is a promising solution. So I like this. It is dismaying that CA's technology is not yet as efficient as it could be. No, this is too negative, and this is not the focus of the passage. There are ways to improve it, so it's not C. Residential applications of CAS technology, in addition to large operations, are likely to become feasible soon. Okay, so this again is kind of jumping the gun. We are still working on this method. It's not something that's absolutely ready to be fully adopted. So it's not D. The best answer is B. It's a promising solution. Okay, let's grade this. April 2018, question 12. BADDC, BADDC, and CACDBB. CACDBB. Okay, great. So we got all correct. Hope this exercise helped. If it did, hit like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the writing walkthroughs for other SAT passages that I'll link to in the description box. I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Take care. Bye-bye.